Good afternoon and welcome to the second race of this afternoon's GrTwosdays Championship. We are here with the League 2 guys. The League 1 guys have finished their race. They're packed up and they're sat in their debriefing rooms speaking with their engineers, going over the first race antics. And now it's the turn of the League 2 guys to take on this legendary circuit. We are at Suzuka in Japan. The iconic racetrack that currently features the Japanese Grand Prix on the Formula One calendar and is one of the most iconic tracks in this game. The League 2 guys are ready to do battle, and just before we go down through the grid, I'll just bring you up to speed after 4 rounds of where we're at with the championship table. In first place, we've got Damien, who you can see has managed to put it on pole. He is there at the top of the table with 67 points. Closely followed with 61 points by Pablo Jr. And then in third place, we've got Muhammad Ali on 56 points, who is also on the same points as Ruthless. Ruthless is on 56 points as well. So all to play for at the top of this table. In fact, all the way down through the field, the points are really evenly spread, and it is anyone's game for those positions as we enter into the halfway point of the season here at Suzuka for round 5. So let's go down through the grid, see how the guys did after qualifying, and then we'll get the race underway. So, as I said, in first, we've got HKRT Damien putting on pole, leading the championship, and really laying out his markers to take a hold of this championship from the offset. And in second place, we have Muhammad Ali. As I said, third place in the championship, tying on points with Rufus. So great performance there in qualifying for Muhammad to put it into second place. Then in third, we've got HKRT2, a newcomer to last week's race, and back again for this week's race. So he's going to be looking to get some points on the board to make sure he stays with these guys going forward. Fourth place goes to Tiddy Milk. Great performance from Tiddy Milk to stick it in fourth place there. And then Rufus in fifth. Now, Rufus will be disappointed with his qualifying, I'd imagine, dropping down into fifth place, especially considering the protagonists that are battling for the championship are up front. So he's going to be looking to make some moves early on in this race. In sixth place, we have a newcomer whose livery seems to have got mixed up in the wash with HKRT Sue, who was in third place. This is MST Shadow, so we'll refer to him as Shadow. He's a newcomer to the championship, looking to continue racing with these guys going forward. So we'll see how he gets on this race and see if he does earn that coveted contract with the GR2s on the GrTwosdays Championship. In seventh place, we got Vane. And then in eighth place, we got HKRT Paris, another one of the HKRT racing team guys. And in ninth, IQ, followed by 10th, Pablo. Now, Pablo, as we said, second place in the championship. He's had a nightmare in qualifying. He's ended up all the way down in 10th place on the grid. But this is an endurance race, so there is all to play for throughout the duration of this 27-lap race. In 11th, we got HKRT Speed Demon, the last of the HKRT guys. I think he'll be disappointed with his qualifying. We're used to seeing him much further up the grid. Hoyland returns again and puts it into position 12 on the grid. And Castellan is back after a week's absence with car trouble last week, and he is qualified in 13th place. I don't believe he made qualifying. I think he failed to put in a lap, so he is starting at the back of the grid. So, without further ado, let's get race 2 of this week's championship underway. As the Clatterton goes, and off they go, with Damien taking us down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Let's see if they all manage to make it through safely and cleanly. As you can see, all jostling, moving around, fighting for those coveted positions early on. But it does look like everybody has made it through cleanly. That's Pablo looking to make moves early on IQ as we go through the S-curves. As I said in race 1, the S-curves are notoriously difficult to even consider overtaking due to the fast-paced nature of the of the curves, where you're flicking it left, flicking it right, as IQ and Paris then doing battle. IQ making that move on Paris, as Paris hits the back, and we've lost Pablo there. Let's have a look, see what happened to Paris, because IQ's stuck it up the inside and managed to make that stick, but then Paris has got a bit out of shape on the brakes and then ended up stopping. Let's have a look on board with Paris. So IQ up the inside, Paris hits the brakes, but he's really slow, and Pablo has to perform evasive action there to stop making contact with Paris, and he loses that position to Hoyland as a result. Really unfortunate for Pablo to get caught up in that. As we've lost Titty Milk now as well. Titty Milk ghosting, so let's see what's going on with Titty Milk. It looks like he's got all out of shape going through there. Oh, he's out-braked himself, so he's gone deep, he's got onto the gravel and onto the AstroTurf, got it back on track, got the grass on the inside and then squirming on the outside, all out of shape, all out of sorts, and he's just lost himself a couple of places as a result. And now, so that's where he's gone wrong, so looks like a tangle with Vane there. So let's have a little look, see what happens here. So Titty Milk come in, we'll go on bonnet cam, so Titty Milk coming up as I think the brake is though, and Vane looks to stop dead. That looked a little bit laggy really from that angle. Not a lot Titty Milk could do with that, and I don't think there's a lot Vane could have done with that, to be honest, either. As he's as we go on board with Vane, we'll have a little look. So he gets past Titty Milk there. As they go around the right-hander into the braking zone, he hits the brakes, he hits the rear, but he stops dead. I'm not sure really what's gone on there, but all manner of difficulties, and Titty Milk has come off much worse as he now loses that place back, loses that place to Paris there, as Paris moves up into 8th, and Titty Milk with it all to do, with Hoyland there for company going forward. So let's get back out onto the trackside cameras and pick up what's going on as these guys do battle around lap 1. Lots of incidents already in lap 1. This track demands a lot of you as a driver, a lot of precision, a lot of pace and reaction time. Down into Casio Triangle, with Vane looking to make a move on IQ. Cameraman's half asleep as we're still supposed to be following Vane, as Vane goes around the outside. So Vane making a move on IQ there and getting past around the outside of the last curve, sorry. As we now come into the braking zone with Paris having a little look at IQ as well. And Titty Milk now coming up in behind Paris, looking to make a move back on Paris. So Titty Milk looking to make amends early on for those issues that he suffered with in that first lap. Tucked right up in beneath this the rear wing of Paris there. Is he going to make a move on the exit going down into the right hand turn coming up turn 9? As Paris has got all out of shape there. Really poor exit from Paris. So let's go and have a look at the chase cam on Paris there. So he's coming back right to go left. He's clipped a bit of grass. A little bit of a nudge there from Titty Milk. Not sure Titty Milk knew much about that either. And then Hoyland comes through, blindsided really by the returning Paris off track. So Paris gets the nudge, he comes back onto the track. Little bit of a passenger really. And then Hoyland doesn't really have anywhere to go, and he goes straight into the back of Paris. He's now carrying too much speed and goes wide onto the grass along with Titty Milk, along with Hoyland. They're all going off, they're all picking up gravel. That's the groundskeeper's job. Stop doing that. Let's stop paying the groundskeeper. We don't want to be doing that. Unbelievable. So after all of that, HKRT Paris has dropped right to the back of the grid. Hoyland is back in 11th, Titty Milk in 9th with it all to do again. And we're only 2 laps in and it's all kicking off between these guys. And not to mention the fact that, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, the environment is a little bit dark. Could we be looking at rain on the horizon? Watch this space. As we move up to the top of the grid, as Siu gets all on the gravel on the left-hand turn there at 130R, and they come down into Casio Triangle, and these three battling. Obviously, Mohammed Ali and Rufus battling for championship points here, championship places at the sharp end. Theo just looking to get those points on the board and getting himself ingrained into this championship himself. So they're battling all the way. They're battling for this for second place at the moment, and we're only on lap 3, and these guys really pushing each other hard. As Rufus looking to try and find a way past Mohammed Ali as we enter into the S curves, with these two guys battling for that third place on the podium. As they come out of the S curves, all on their way around Degner curve into turn 9, sharp right-hander, take a load of curb on the inside. Not too much though, because it does unsettle these cars. They sit so low to the ground due to the nature of their design that the curves can really unsettle them, and you end up being a bit of a passenger, as we saw last week at San Croix B, where unfortunately the bump going towards the bridge was catching a lot of people out as it unsettled the car due to the lack of ground clearance these cars run. So all looking a bit spread out and a bit steady. So let's have a little look down through the grid. Oh, we've got a spinner at hairpins, so let's have a little look, see what's happened there, as Hoyland seems to have taken a little bit of a spin. Yeah, he's so easily done. He's gone to see the marshal there, just to say hello, I think, or pick up his lunch, but he's got it all wrong on the exit, got too much on the throttle, and it's spun that rear end up, span him round, and to be fair, that corner can catch out even the best of the best. It's just one of those corners you get so zoned in and so locked onto what you're doing, you could get a little bit keen, grab a bit too much throttle, and around you go. As we watch Damien now come round to complete lap 3 of this 27 lap race. So he takes fastest lap as he goes through as well, with Sue going through in second, Mohammed in third, Rufus in fourth, Shadow in fifth, doing well, Vane in sixth, IQ seventh, and then Pablo making moves up the field in 8th place, with Tilly Milks also staying with him in 9th, Aston in 10th, benefiting from some errors from the guys in front, Harris in 11th, and Speed Demon looks like he may have been caught up in a little bit of a tangle in 12th, with Hoyland just coming across to complete his lap 3 in 13th place. So, as we started to do before we caught that little spin going on around the hairpin, let's have a little down through the field, see what tyres these guys are on as it's all spread out a little bit, and see what sort of strategies are likely to pay out. So we've got Damien there holding the lead at the moment in first place on the medium compound tyre. Also on the mediums, HKRT racing, as we saw in race 1, League 1, the HKRT guys seem to be starting on that medium compound tyre. Stu doing the same. You have to apologise for me dropping out of the audio. I'm putting myself on mute. Unfortunately, my body has decided to be allergic to air at the moment. So as we watch Rufus come round, he's just got onto that AstroTurf, and the trouble on the AstroTurf is okay if you can stay out of the throttle, but it's hard not to grab that throttle, and he's done just that. There's no grip, and it just spins you round, and you are a passenger, and he's dropping down into what will likely be 10th place there, with all the work to do to try and get back up to Mohammed, who he's battling for in the championship for the third place on that podium in the championship, as they battle round 130R with Tilly Milk and Castian doing battle as they come into Casio Triangle and onto the start finish straight round last curve. Right, let's go back up, catch back up where we were after we watched that spin. So Mohammed there on the hard tyres, so he's done what the HKRT guys have done in past races. He's come out on the hard tyres to start the race. He's doing well to stay with them on that hard compound tyre, so setting himself up nicely for some quicker stints on the medium and softs as the race goes on. with Shadow on the soft. So Shadow is going to be a bit disappointed he's not managed to make more inroad into the guys in front on that quicker compound tire, but he's still got plenty of pace there, and he's still cracking on. So all to play for, as Vane is in 5th on the medium compound tire, doing well, working his way up through the field. IQ also on the medium tire. So at the moment we've only got Grahamid on the hards, the rest on the mediums are Shadow on the softs. Another medium runner, and Pablo looking to make amends for his poor qualifying position and get back up, considering he's 2nd place in that championship battle. Teddy Milk, another on the medium. Castellan on the medium. There's a bit of a trend here. Oh, Rufus was on the soft, so Rufus is going to be absolutely kicking himself with that spin. Undone all that work, and he's now got all the work to do on the hards and the mediums, slower compound tires, to try and get enough points to keep himself from losing too much ground with Grahamid in the championship battle. Paris on the hards, so he's doing what the HKRT guys have done in previous races, and Speed Demon also on the hards with the same idea. Hoyland, another one who's on the softs and made that mistake, so going to be kicking himself there. Really unfortunate for Hoyland there. As we go back up to the top of the field, I did just spot we have somebody in the pits. So Shadow in the pits, getting rid of those soft compound tires. Is he going to go for a full tank? We shall see. He does look like he is going for that full tank of fuel. He's dropped to the back of the grid, but he is going out on the medium compound tires, so it's going to be a matter of getting his head down, getting those lap times in now, towards the final stop, he will hope, onto that hard compound tire. See how much ground he can make up on that middle compound tire, and see where he can go. Flashing of the lights, that looks to be an error, perhaps a button mapping issue on his controller there, or his steering wheel, because he's not got anybody around him that he could be flashing. So either that, or he's having a little bit of a rave in that car. Who knows? Let's get back up and see what Damien is doing out in front. He's got himself a good gap over Sue, so he's making good use of those medium compound tyres. As he comes down through Casio Triangle onto the start-finish straight to finish lap 6 of this 27-lap race. Now the end of lap 7 is when I would have expected to start seeing the soft compound tyre guys coming in. We've still got Rufus out there on the softs, and Hoyland was also on the softs, I believe, and obviously Shadow, who's already pitted. So these guys will be trying to get that lap 6 out of the way, and then we'll try and move on to get lap 7 done now, and then come into the pits, I would imagine. Don't think we've got anybody in the pits as of yet, so we're as you were. We've got a little bit of a battle brewing. I just spotted on this mini map. Looks like Tiddy Milk and Pablo. So Pablo looking to make Tiddy Milk his next victim on his way back up through the field, to what he will hope to try and make a podium finish. He's going to need to keep the pressure on in that championship battle, as Damien, who's currently leading the championship from Pablo, is leading this race comfortably. As we do appear to have somebody in the pits. It looks like it may well be Hoyland. We'll have a little look. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it's Hoyland. Hoyland in the pits to get rid of those soft tyres, as we watch Tiddy Milk and Pablo. Pablo looks to have made a bit of a mistake there, as he's dropped back. So we'll just have a little look as they come up through hairpin. And I wonder if he's just got a bit excited on the throttle and he's got a big... Oh, he's done well to save that. That's some good car control there from Pablo. Lost it on the rear end, getting too keen on the throttle, and that back end wanted to come all the way around, and normally that does result in a spin, but he's done really well to save that, and he can now get his head down and get back on the road on the way back up to Tiddy Milk in front of him. as he looks to be safe from any attacks from Castrian. Rufus on those soft tyres has dropped back. I think he must have made another mistake. Let's have a little look, see if we can see what happened. Yeah, so he's running in 10th place, and he's coming round Degner, around the 90-degree right-hander, and he's just got the turning all wrong and ended up on the inside of that corner. It's upset the balance of the car, and he's clipped the wall for good measure on the as he tries to rejoin the track. Awful luck there from Rufus. So all to do and all to play for now for Rufus. He's going to have to give himself a bit of a shake, get rid of those demons there, and see what he can make of this race. Going to be a bit of damage limitation for him now, unfortunately. We'll have a little look back down through, because IQ and Teddy Milk look like they're about to start doing back. The inside, Teddy Milk looking up the inside into turn 1, and he makes it stick. IQ looked to back out of that, to be honest, and Teddy Milk sailed through. He made that look very easy, both on the medium compound tyres, so shouldn't have been as easy as it was. But maybe IQ is just running a slightly different strategy. If you look at the fuel difference there, so Teddy Milk using a lot more fuel, so maybe IQ is looking to just stretch his medium compound tyre run a little bit longer to give himself some more options as he starts as the guys start to come into the pits in the coming laps. So the refueling rate around these races is quite slow, so he's going to save a bit of time on fuel on refueling in the pits, so that could still come good for IQ there, who is battling away for 6th place at the moment. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the weather map at the moment, but it is still looking really grey around this track. And for anyone who's spent time watching Formula 1, as a fan of Formula 1, has seen races around Suzuka in the F1, the rain can just happen at the click of a finger. It can just suddenly appear out of nowhere. You could have blue skies 1 minute. As we got a yellow flag, we have a yellow flag. Who is the yellow flag? Was it Vane? Have a little look. See what happened there. So we got Vane. Where's the yellow flag come in? So it was as they come down through the straight there. Maybe one of them's gone wide at 130R. Interesting. So we'll watch Vane go around 130R and see what happens, because it does seem to be up there. So he's got the yellow flag there. So is that yellow flag for a bit further up? Or have... I wonder if we've got... Hoyland, it looks like it might be Hoyland. Unfortunately, it looks like Hoyland has gone through Cassio. He's got on the throttle before he's got round. The cameraman obviously not really interested in actually following Hoyland, just looking at the corner. As we see Hoyland just sort of keeping out of the way as everybody goes past. Really disappointing to see him struggling again, but he's still learning his Hoyland. These cars are a little bit different to what he's probably used to. So he's just staying out of the way, letting everybody go past, and then I think he's going to get himself back underway. Yeah, there he goes, back underway and back after it to see what kind of stuff he can learn. This corner with the cameraman on the Casio Triangle, the cameraman on GT7 is one of those corners where he just hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Just seems to go asleep. So anyway, picking it back up, let's go back down to where we have the little battle going on between City Milk, IQ and Pablo. So Pablo Closing in again on IQ after the little mistake he made earlier on, and he is looking menacing there, closing in on IQ for 6th place, with Tiddy Milk not far off the road ahead of them, as you can see there. You got Vane up in front, so this could be interesting coming into Hairpin. Always a good place for outbraking, as Pablo looks to be nice and close in behind. We can get a good exit this time. Yeah, all squirrely again on the exit, so really fighting with the traction on that NSX is Pablo. And he got all out of shape coming out, so he didn't get the exit he probably would have wanted. Can he close up as we go through Spoon Curve onto the straight and see if he can get any closer to IQ in the slipstream, give himself the opportunity towards the end of lap 9 to make a move. So as I was saying about the rain here, you also when it does decide it's going to rain, it can go from blue skies to rain just like that. You often just get pure rain, like literally heavens open, full downpour, and you've got lakes appearing on the track. It can be that bad, just out of nowhere. So it always makes for quite spicy races as Pablo moves to the inside and heading into turn 1, and out breaks IQ going into turn 1. A little bit of lag there from IQ, a bit like what we saw from Manos in race 1. As IQ loses it on the exit there. Let's have a little look, see what happened to IQ. Well, we just saw what happened, but he's come back in there. He's got on the throttle, and I think the lag is causing that issue there. It really does look like lag. There wasn't really anything IQ could have done about where Pablo was, and I'm not really sure whether that's lag for both or lag for one, but IQ has definitely come off worse as he's dropped right the way back down the grid. We've lost IQ. There appears to have been a technical issue, so maybe the lag was him, and that was his internet connection going, "You've had enough racing for today, you can now go to bed." And that's what has happened, and IQ is dropped out. Unfortunate for IQ. Vane looking strong in 4th place. We haven't had anybody else go into the pits yet, other than Shadow, who dove into the pits really early on to get rid of those soft tyres. So I would expect to see and Rufus, I would imagine, so Rufus has pitted as well as Hoyland, of course, as they were both on the soft compound tyres, as Hoyland now battling under blue flags, I would imagine, with Perez as he also goes wide. Struggling is Hoyland, but we won't stay too much on him. It can be a lonely place when things just aren't going your way, so we'll leave him to recover and gather his thoughts. As now we have the first pit stop of the main field. So Vane coming in from 4th place into the pits on medium tyres to change onto another compound, so they'll have hards or softs. So the guys in these races, they have to use all 3 compounds of tyres, hards, mediums and softs, all racing compounds of course. I can't imagine what these cars would be like to drive on comfort, softs or mediums road tyres. I can imagine they're pretty bloody awful, to not put too fine a point on it. So yeah, they've got to use all 3. They've got to do a minimum of 3 laps on each compound, which in some races in the past, doing 3 laps on the hard compound tyre, getting rid of it nice and early, has been a strategy as Vane comes out of the pits and into 10th place on his own. Has been a strategy to get those hards off sooner, but with the fuel rate as it is at these races, and the tyre wear, you haven't got that freedom to do a minimal stop on the hard tyres, as you'll run out of either tyres or fuel before the end of the race. So you do have to make sure you do a decent stint on all 3 compounds. So really down to the guys to make a strategy work for them, as Vane comes around, as you see, to lap Hoyland there. as we now look at the guys at the top coming into the pits. They've saved some serious fuel there, especially compared to Grahamid there. So a good 13-14% fuel saved over Grahamid there. So they are going to gain that in this pit stop phase, as Tiddymilk also comes in with comparable fuel. The HKRT Racing guys, they do seem to be really, really good at saving that fuel, which is really benefiting them as the race, and they're not losing pace with that fuel savings. They just seem to have a knack for these cars and what they can do on the fuel, as Pablo is the only one at the moment to have stayed out. Shadow obviously having already pit, so Pablo inherits the lead of this race on lap 12, with Sue coming out in second, Damien in third, Grahamid coming out just behind Shadow now in fifth. He'll be looking to make short work of Shadow. He's come out on the soft tyres, as Damien, Sue and Damien and Sue have come out on the hard compound tyre. So Grahamid is going to have to make this soft compound work for him, get those lap times on the board and really put some dents into there, because the other guys will have that pit stop to come to go onto the softs. So really important stint now for Grahamid to see where he ends up in this race. And Cassian also comes out on the softs. Vane on the hard tyre, so Vane will still have the softs to move on to. Tiddymilk also on the hard compound tyre. Paris takes on the mediums. I think he was on the hards to start with. And then HKRT Speed Demon on the mediums. He was on the hards to start with as well. Just going to double check actually, because I thought the guy, thought Paris came in on the hards. They were both on the hard tyres, so they've both come out on the medium compound tyre. So there we go. And then Rufus in 11th there, also on the hards. He's had another issue and he's under blue flags, having a bit of a nightmare as Rufus. Really unfortunate for him, doing so well in the championship at the moment, but this race is not his race, and he is struggling down in 11th place and looking like he is about to be lapped. As we move up with Pablo Jr. So Pablo now still in the lead of the race, still saving fuel, still looking good on those medium tyres. He's made those tyres work for him. Good consistency across the board there as well. Is he going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, or is he going to go again? He's going again. So Pablo looking to do a 13 lap stint on those medium tyres. He's really making that fuel and tyre work for him. He's got a good gap back to, I think that is Sue. So Sue in second. Good gap back to him, but it's not. It doesn't look anywhere close to being a pit stop window. But either way, impressive stint from Pablo to keep those tyres on, as it looks like Shadow and Grahamid are about to start waging war through the S-curves. So it looks like that it does appear to be a button mapping issue of Shadow there, because that constant flashing of the lights is kind of, I think, coinciding with either the brake pedal, the accelerator, or the gear changing. So a bit annoying for the other drivers around him, especially if you're in front, but Grahamid behind and looking for a way through. So Grahamid putting Shadow under pressure. Shadow on the mediums, Grahamid on the soft. So Grahamid is going to want to get this move done nice and quickly, nice and early. Probably thinking that he's spent too much time behind him already, as he has a little look up the inside into the hairpin and looking to get a good exit. He does get a good exit. You can see that little suction there almost pulling him towards the back of the rear end of Shadow's car. So Grahamid going to have a look down the inside into boom curve there, but he doesn't quite have the momentum. He's going to pick up the slipstream though, if he can keep it clean on the exit. He doesn't need it though, as he's gone for the inside line, and now it's a drag race down the straight towards 130R. Is Grahamid going to make this stick? He's got in front. He's in front. He's got the move done before 130R, and they take the fast left-hander 130R on the way to Casio Triangle and round to finish lap 13 as Pablo finally comes in for his pit stop on the medium tyres and to take on some fuel. So he will drop back down the grid, but those lap times looking really super consistent. Are they quick enough to have made some damage into the guys that were ahead of him? We shall see, as Grahamid now looks to leave Shadow behind and on the way up after Damien. Now Damien's lost the lead here, so I'm wondering if something's happened there to Damien that we've missed. Must have been quite far back. Oh well, we're a long way back now. We've committed, so let's have a... Oh, it does look like it was in the pit stop phase, so let's just have a quick look. We'll go forward again. We've missed what happened with the change of the lead. I wonder if Siu's come out with a little bit less fuel, perhaps? Yeah, so Siu's come out with a little bit less fuel. Came out on 82% fuel. And Damien's gone for a full tank, so no mistakes, but yeah, so we've got a bit of a lead change now. So let's get back to where Pablo pulled into the pits. That was where we were at. Pablo then in the pits taking on fuel with Siu, then inheriting the lead back from Pablo. Damien in second place, Grahamid in third, having made that move on Shadow in fourth, and Pablo dropping down the grid now with Cassio now taking over from fifth. Is Vane close enough? Vane is going to jump Pablo into sixth. Tilly Milk is looking like he's going to do the same into seventh as Pablo now comes out of the pit lane, and he looks like he's comfortably ahead of Paris in ninth place. So he inherits eighth, as it looks like. Well, it looked like we had a bit of change there, but I don't know as if we did. Oh, it was just the dropping of Pablo through the field that gave it that impression. So Pablo coming out into 8th place. Speed Demon there in 9th, as it looks like Grahamid and Damien are battling. So we've I've just spotted those names switching around. So what's happened here? The Grahamid on the move on those soft tyres, Damien on the hards, and looking menacing as they come round on their way to the hairpin, as Grahamid goes wide. So Grahamid, was that a nudge there? Let's have a little look on board with Grahamid, see what he saw on chase cam, as he's got a great momentum there coming up. But he's gone for the inside there, but what will become the outside line, and Damien's not giving him any space there, but we'll leave that to the stewards, but it did look like Grahamid perhaps had a claim for that racing room there. He did look to be quite a good way alongside, but now he's got it all to do with Shadow catching back up to the back of Grahamid. Grahamid's going to be annoyed there because those tyres don't last that long. The soft compound tyres do not last that long, and the more you do things like that, the more grip is taken away from you. So he's got a lot of work to do now to bridge that gap back. As if we have a little look up, we see Siu making good use of that time saved in the pit lane for taking on a little bit less fuel, and he's making his way through Cassio Triangle to start lap 15 of this 27 lap race. So we're well over halfway through this race now. We looked as Grahamid is now caught right back up to the back of Damien. He's all over the back of him again as we go through S curves on our way through Dunlop curve, Degner curve, and on our way then out to the hairpin to see if Grahamid can put a move on Damien. Damien getting a bit out of shape there, picking up a bit of grass, kicking up a load of dust onto the track. Graham will have seen that and be looking to line him up coming into the hairpin. Under braking, Graham going to have a bit more grip as he keeps a tighter line on the exit. So he's going to have that little bit of advantage in the drag going down into Spoon Curve now, as they both head off into the braking zone. Not quite close enough. He will benefit from the slipstream going down into 130R, but he's not close enough to really make use of that, I don't think. But we'll see. He may get enough to just give himself an edge to dive into up the inside, perhaps going into Casio Triangle. The little chicane coming up here. He has a little look. You can see the movement there, just letting Damien know he's there and he's looking, but nothing doing there. So as you were at the moment, let's see how they get on going down through as Damien looks to move out of the slipstream there. And they move off down through turn 1. Graham keeping a tighter line. Some serious lag there from Damien. So Damien, that's going to be a nightmare to race against with Graham there. We're not knowing really where Damien's car is. You can see it jumping all over the track. A bit frustrating, I can imagine. But S-curves is not where you want to be making any moves. But they've all bunched up. So I think Siu's made a mistake somewhere. And now all three of them are nip and tuck going through the S-curves and on their way through now Dunlop Curve to take the Downer Curve now, and then into the 90-degree right-hander, taking him under the bridge towards Hairpin. And these guys are going to be really close together coming out of the Hairpin, I would imagine. I think Siu's suffering a little bit on that hard compound tyre. Good battling here from these guys, keeping it clean. As I said, the lag making it a little bit tougher for Graham to know exactly where to put his car, but battling all the way nevertheless. The blue flags coming out, not for any of these three guys, as they are your podium sitters as we watch. But that is going to be a blue flag for one of the guys near the back of the field, unfortunately getting lapped. As we come back into the triangle again, these laps seem to be flying by at the end of lap 16, and Graham all over the back now of Damien. Graham's tyres are going to start going off, so Graham is going to need to get this move done as soon as possible, and he's looking to pick up that slipstream from Siu up ahead and give himself an advantage going into turn 1. But Damien's good on the brakes going into the apex, and as they come out on the exit, Graham all over the back, but he's just going to have to sit tight there and manage his pace behind Damien while they get through this section, because like I said earlier, you really don't want to be trying to overtake through here. It's a minefield of issues, with doors closing and opening left, right and centre. So get through that, get on out here. So we've got a yellow flag. Is that going to be for one of the back markers? We'll stay with these guys as we speak. No overtaking at the moment. Still under yellow flag. So as we thought, does look like Hoyland's made another mistake there coming under the bridge, as these guys now go round the hairpin. So those guys who started on the soft compound tyre, we will, so that would be Hoyland, Rufus and Shadow. We're going to start seeing them, I would imagine, diving into the pits at the end of this lap or the next couple of laps, to take on that final compound of tyre and refuel, as Graham now coming around 130R, still on the prowl chasing down Damien. He's going to be frustrated. Damien's on that hard compound tyre doing a cracking job of keeping Graham at bay. Those soft tyres are going to be absolutely screaming at him. And yeah, as I thought he might, he has dived into the pits to get rid of those softs now and get onto his final set of tyres, which I think I think he have the mediums left to go. We'll see as he comes out of the pits. With Shadow, as I said, he was one of the soft tyre runners early on. I'm surprised to see Grahamid come in, but then he is also doing a soft tyre stint, so it's a middle stint, so throwing the cat amongst pigeons. So these guys diving into the pits now to get their final stop out of the way. Is Grahamid? I can't remember what Grahamid's going to be on. I think he still had the hard compound to go, so he will be on the slower tyre, but it will hold up for longer. So no, he's got the medium, so he's on the medium tyre. So all to play for Grahamid. Can he get his head down? Can he get that pace underneath him on that medium compound tyre to make inroads into the advantage that Sio and Damien will have when they do come in, because they will be going out on the soft tyre. So all to play for in this race. Have a little look down through the field. Now we've got a couple of pit stops. Castian has inherited third, but he is to stop, and he is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. I've got to be honest, he's probably the only car that I've seen across these two races that has worn out his front left sooner than his front right. So whatever tyre saving he's trying to do is working in a way, because it's a lot more balanced. But I'd be interested to see what he's doing to manage that. So interesting little tidbit of information there to take home with you. Staying there in fourth, looking good on those hard tyres. He is going to have to come in and stop again, but I think he has still got the soft tyre compound to come. Pablo up into fifth, and again also still has the soft tyre compound to come. He seems to be a bit of a 1 minute 50 specialist, whatever the compound of tyre. He's into the 150s on these hards, and he's consistently been in and around that time zone. So it'll be interesting to see where he manages to get himself up to, as Castian, as I thought, does indeed come into the pits. Tiddy Milk there in sixth on the hard compound. Paris is seventh. Grahamid looking to make his way up through the field in now seventh, as Castian obviously loses those places due to being in the pits. B-Demon there following up in ninth. Shadow 10th. Rufus in 11th with more blue flags, and Hoyland back down in 12th. Good on those guys for carrying on, because it can be very easy to just go, you know what, I'm leaving, and pull into the pits and disappear off into the distance. But we don't like rage quitters here at URL. We like to see people persevere. Remember, every lap is learning, every lap is information you gather to make yourself quicker and give yourself an edge over the opposition in races to come. So always worth staying out on track to get those laps in. As Perez is holding off Grahamid Ali there, as it looks like is that Vane having a little bit of a nightmare trying to get past Hoyland there, but he's managed to get it done. So we'll go back to Grahamid. He's looking to make inroads now up through the field. As Hoyland has put himself right in the middle of the track there. Not the best blue flag driving there from Hoyland, although he has got his indicators flashing, so maybe he's got a technical issue. But it didn't look like the car knew what it was doing. As Grahamid now comes through, tucked up behind Paris, as we come across the start-finish straight to start lap 20. So well and truly into the final stage of this race now, with 8 laps left to go. Grahamid on the mediums with Paris on the mediums as well, but heavily worn, and Vane up in front, looking like he's about to come under pressure from both of these guys. As we go on with Paris now. Everybody else seeming a little bit spread out. Not too much going on at the minute. So we'll stay with these guys as Graham gets a nice tight line with Paris going a little bit deeper. But they've both come through, and now Paris is right up behind the rear wing of Bain. So as he drops back a little bit through this little phase onto the straight going down to 130R. So it swings in roundabouts. There's now Graham is now tucked in behind underneath that rear wing. So here's Graham. He looks close enough in that toe. Is he going to have enough as Paris moves out to defend? Graham tucking it in behind. He's going to stay put, hold station as they go through Casio Triangle onto the start finish straight. Graham losing a little bit of ground there, so he's got a little bit more to make up if he's going to have a lunge up the inside into turn one. I don't think he's close enough to do so, so he will have to wait through the S's to see what he can do, or will he? Vane is struggling, so Vane's struggling there for pace going through that section, so it's brought them all three closer together as they go left and right through the S curves. And Graham now right up behind Paris, looking so desperately to get that move done. He needs to get by. All this time is just costing him making any moves on Siu and Damien up in front, who he was battling with before he had to come into the pits. So all the while stuck behind Paris here, Graham is losing time and places as they go through hairpin. Paris gets an awful exit, awful second part of that curve, as Graham now right all over the back again, just trying every which way to try and find a way past Paris. And is he going to have a look around the outside, the inside? No, he's staying closely tucked up behind. Great racing from these two. They've had a few battles on track over the last few races, but it looks like Graham has managed to get that front end tucked in, and he has for now taken the position that Graham making that move. Can he make it stick as they head down into 130R? And he gets it done just before the entry. And is Paris going to come back at him into Casio Triangle? No, he's not. He hasn't got anything to give. So there we go, as Pablo now comes into the pits from third place on the grid. And Graham now looking to clear Paris and get on up the road after Tiddy Milk. Bain also into the pits. Pablo having saved a lot of fuel there on that hard tyre stint. I'm pretty sure he's got the soft tyres to go, so he's made up some places there with his little strategy. Saved some decent amount of fuel. He's now on the soft tyres, ready to go after Paris up in front. So considering his qualifying, good strategy from Pablo, and he's made it work for himself. And there he goes off up after Paris, who's a good way up in front, but he has still got to pit, so this could still come good for Pablo with regards to his championship hopes. That's Graham and Tiddy Milk now coming into the hairpin. Graham much closer to Tiddy Milk than he was the previous lap, by virtue of the fact he was behind Paris, as Paris gets a nice drift on going round hairpin and holds it all the way round, and off up the road they go. As we now have the final pit stop commencing for Siu and Damien up in first and second place. As you can see, Damien with a lot more fuel left at the end of that stint, so he is going to get out before Siu because they won't need to go full tank. So how much fuel will they put in? Let's see. Yep, as Damien gets out and Siu gets out just after him, so the strategy playing out as you were, really, with Damien now retaking the lead of this race from Siu. As we can see now, Tiddy Milk coming into the pits. Graham stays with third place after that pit stop phase, but it's a lonely third place. He's lost a lot of time battling with other drivers, and now he is off the back of those two up in front. And a little bit of a lonely finish to the race for Graham. And Pablo Jr. has inherited four, so that strategy from Pablo has really paid off, and he is absolutely flying now in fourth place. Great performance from Pablo, really showing why he's second place in this championship battle at the moment, with that strategy that he's managed to play out. Made some real headway into this race, and he is in fourth. A little bit far back, well, quite a long way back to be troubling Grahamid, so it does look like if he can keep this clean, fourth place is his best he can do, but still good stuff nevertheless. Fast forward it a little bit through a couple of laps because we are running short on time, and I don't want to miss things happening towards the end of the race. Everybody looking quite spread out as we go across, as we're in onto the lap. But we just got what was that going on there? Oh, we got a little bit of a battle there as Castian is slow coming out of there. We'll pick this up before we move forward any further. Paris and Castian and Vane all battling out here. 3 don't go wide into 130R though, so somebody's going to have to yield. Castian goes wide. Vane makes the place stick ahead of Castian, and Paris just about gets off up the road away from these guys. So good stuff there from Paris. But I'm going to have to grab this forward. Oh, the weather has turned. So I think, looking at the colour of the sky, I think we are now going to be. Is it going to rain? What a finish to this race it would be if it started to rain. And it has. It started to rain, and Sue. Oh, let's go back. So, as Damien has come into the pits, they've obviously been keeping an eye on the weather radar, and I think we're going to end up missing the last bit of this race, which is going to be an absolute shame. So I will try to fast forward it a little bit at some point as Grahamid now comes around in the rain. We're not quite up to the 1 bar, but these guys have dived into the pits to take on. The Damien is on full wets. The Damien is coming on full wets. Come out on full wets. Is Sue following suit? So Sue coming out on full wets as well. Will Grahamid do the same, or will he? That bar coming up. So you know, I said earlier on in the race, when the rain comes, it comes, and it can be torrential. It looks like that is exactly what we've got on our hands. But Grahamid is rolling the dice now. Grahamid has come in and put on intermediates. So can he keep that on the straight and narrow? Is that going to be quicker? As Hoyland's struggling. Hoyland's caught out in the rain there. So Grahamid there. So we got Pablo. Is Pablo doing intermediates or full wets? So Pablo on intermediates as well. This could all come undone, or it could be a stroke of genius. As Tiddy Milk now comes out on intermediates as well, followed by Shadow. Shadow on intermediates with a 3-second penalty. Is Paris going to come out on? Oh, Paris is just coming in the pits. Vane just coming in the pits. So these guys all piling into the pits. Speed Demon's lost it. Speed Demon's caught out in the rain. He's on those soft tyres. The Speed Demon's race come undone. He's too far away from the pit lane to have made it, and he's spun in 10th place. As Rufus now is on intermediate tyres, a lap down. Hoyland looks like he's stranded there in the desert. So we got Damien in first on full wets, Sue in second on full wets, Grahamid in third on intermediate tyres. We're going to have to fast forward this so we can capture the end of this race and pick it up as Grahamid there. So we've lost Grahamid. Really unfortunate that we're going to run out of time here to finish up this race properly, as Grahamid now goes round those intermediate tyres. We're on full wets. You can see the bar in the bottom left, and he's done well to save that. He's kept it on the straight and narrow, but is he going to keep hold of third place? Who knows? As we now make our way round, final lap of the race. Let's get it through. As Grahamid now goes round, we're into full wet territory. The little blue bar on the bottom left showing as we look ahead. As Damien comes around across the line on full wet tyres. in first place. And great performance from Damien there, as we got Stu coming round. Stu coming round to finish. He keeps it on the straight and narrow, and he is going to take second place. Mohammed, we'll just get our podium done, and I think the rest of the guys are going to have to be missed off the end of this, as Mohammed now comes round to take third place. Pablo in fourth, with Tinny Milk there for company. We are going to lose it, so thank you for watching, guys.